heel and toe, which is basically when you're braking to rev the engine up so that you can synchronize the speed between the engine and the gearbox. But the computers do this for the car on itself. So for example, if you're changing down, it'll rev the engine up first. So we're in third gear now. If you listen to this, it did it all on its own.
Right.
To make
It revved it up.
Yeah, it revved it up to synchronize sort of gearbox and engine speed so that you're ready to power away. Wow, loved it.
And then, like the Conservatives, Boris Johnson deciding should he not have a shot at London Mayor, the weather has a change of heart. The heavens opened, yet still we tested. Brave souls indeed, or mad Englishmen.
Okay, so what I'm looking for in the car here is just to see actually how it handles the speed and the power in these sorts of conditions. So as you're coming tight into a bend, you're applying the brakes. You want to see how the back end feels. Is it light? Is it seated? Is it really working with you? And is the turn-in accurate and safe? And can you apply all that power where it's needed? Can the car handle it? Is the chassis up to it? Does the steering give you enough feel? And have you got enough throttle control to make it all nice and smooth and make it work?
Back to civility, but for how long? Kevin has spotted another alpha male marking its territory.
And guess what? He ain't as fast as us. No way.
I don't even try him. Don't even
I can burn him out any day. But I've had enough of that now. All of these different modes on the steering do actually affect the gearing, and they're just the software. So if we were to go to sport, now we're actually changing the speed of the gear change, and it shows you we're in sport mode and it says F1 super fast. However, the really serious one is race mode. When it goes into race mode, you've got the lap timer there, so you can actually begin to time your laps. But also, you get piercing acceleration and the gear ratios change. So if we change down a few, we're in fourth now. You see it's sharper, so it's almost the same speed as a Formula 1 car. Yeah. And once we do get an opportunity to acceleration, if I change down again, it's now very much in race mode. So if you want to accelerate, you'll see the warning signs come up here on the steering to tell you when to change. We're going downhill now because we're in the sort of slippery conditions mode. It won't allow me to change down because it knows that if I change down, then the throttle will create too much sort of pressure on the back wheels that make the wheels spin. Okay. The idea is for wheels not to spin, so it keeps me in fourth gear, which I think is good.
Ferrari's HQ, I'm told, is within salmon throwing distance. My lobotomy from today's drive is healing well. Soon as tearful a scene out of Kramer vs. Kramer, we're about to hand her back to her surrogate parents. But before that, some final words from Kevin.
Wow. Right, so the most amusing question and last question.
Okay.
As you hand in the Ferrari, what are some of the more interesting things that have happened in driving this car? Because you were talking about a young boy and, you know, when we were at McDonald's. Go on, what?
I don't know. I think for me, there have been a couple of occasions. There was one chap I took out, and I went to pick up my wife from a barbecue, and she must have told him that I was coming with this car. And he's quite a car enthusiast. And the minute I arrived, he ran from across the road, and this is a 40-year-old man, and hugged me, and he said, "Please, if there is anything I want to do in my life, is to have a run in this car." And so we went out for a drive, and he came back gobsmacked, and he looked at me quite seriously, and he said to me, "I'll remember this for the rest of my life." And even I thought, well, I'll remember you saying that too, because it brought him such joy.
Okay, there we go. What about that little kid as well, the one you sat in the car?
Oh, the little kid, it was fantastic. We were going around the Docklands just looking for, Canary Wharf actually, just looking for somewhere to take photographs. And this family were going by, and they sort of walked, you could see, I was sitting there with the photographer, and they wanted to ask a question, and the woman said to me, "Oh, this is such a beautiful car, is it the new Ferrari?" And I said, "Yes." And you could see they had a little boy there, and his eyes were all over it. And I said, "Well, would your son like to have a picture taken in the car?" I said, "Oh, would you please, please?" And he got really, really excited, and he sat in and he had his picture taken, and he was so happy. In fact, the whole family was so happy. They just stood by and waved to me goodbye, as if to say, "Thanks for making this a special occasion for us." It's those sorts of things which, to me, to be honest with you, bringing joy to people, and the amount of joy that just seeing this car has actually brought into people's lives, just be all for a moment. You know, somebody's stopped me as I was driving the car at 20 miles an hour and said, "I'm sorry to do this, but I have to take a picture of this car." And he took a picture, and he said his dad used to sell Ferraris, and he said if he knew that this car had been down the street and he hadn't taken a picture, he couldn't go home. And those sorts of things, you know, like every day, people, you're driving by and people are clapping when they see the car, and some people are waving, or even a guy in a Lamborghini I saw yesterday just going around the roundabout. He saw the car, I was waiting to go onto the roundabout, and he flashed his lights and waved, as if to say, well, you know, it's part of a fraternity, really, and it's just a very nice feeling. Chris. Hello,
Tony.
Hello, Tony.
Hello.
Nice to see you. This is David. David's doing some filming. What's it called again?
View Magazine.
View Magazine.tv.
So you're going to do a piece in reception, or?
Yeah, I'll probably do a piece of View.
Yeah.
Did you know there's only a dozen or so of the GTBs in the UK?
Okay, so end of one chapter, and what a drama it was. You wouldn't believe, eh? I won't even go into it. I'm now picking up Kevin's car, and he's on the other side of the camera. And then we've got to head back to London, and then hopefully pick up the Evo and see what that's like as well. So I'm going inside there, and you're not allowed to follow me because it's private.
You'll hate this. And what really surprises me, and it's funny, I've been in many cars and not always had this attitude, is that everybody, just about everybody, celebrates this car and loves it. They don't think, oh, well, you know, who is he, or any sort of arrogance or anything like that, and no hostility. Within the 5 days I've been driving this car, everybody has loved it, everybody has celebrated. Not one person has said, you know, had a bit of an attitude towards it. I just thought it's such a great thing to do, or to have.